Phyllis is an excellent actress who has attracted a large audience from Y&R. But she's still a fire-loving fan who fell in love with each other. This character first appeared in October 1994 with Michelle Stafford stemming from the role. When she chose to leave the soap in 1997, Sandra Nelson took over for a few years. Stafford reclaimed her role in 2000 and remained until 2013. In 2014, Gina Tognoni assumed the role of Phyllis, but in June 2019, she left and Stafford returned to Y&R. Since Phyllis Summers came to Geneva, she started to cause trouble, causing rock star Danny Romalotti to sleep with her. And when she was pregnant, she changed her DNA test results to say that Daniel was a father so he would leave his wife, Christine Blair, and marry her. But after she gave birth to Daniel Romalotti Jr., Phyllis found herself abandoned by Daniel and for revenge, running down to Christine and Paul Williams in her car. Daniel and Phyllis went to therapy to save their marriage and Phyllis had an affair with her, Tim Reed, documenting the scene of them having sex to blackmail him to tell Daniel to marry her. But eventually they divorced, leaving Phyllis to have a relationship with Malcolm Winters, Michael Baldwin and Jack Abbott before leaving town. When she returned, Phyllis married Jack and they tried to gain custody of his son, Kyle, from his mother, Diane Jenkins. Diane sent Phyllis to prison for arson and attempted murder, and eventually Jack and Phyllis broke up. Daniel returned to Geneva with a teenager and Phyllis was attached to her son, who lived with Daniel. Phyllis had an affair with Nick Newman when he was mourning the death of his daughter, Cassie. When she was pregnant, Nick divorced Sharon to marry Phyllis, who eventually gave birth to Summer Newman. Phyllis blackmailed Brad Carlton for his relationship with Sharon, and while fighting Sharon and Drusilla Winters atop a cliff, Drew fell into her death. Phyllis was briefly imprisoned for extortion and Nick is believed to have died in a plane crash. After returning home, he, Phyllis, Jack and Sharon started Restless style magazine. Despite his best efforts, Phyllis couldn't keep Nick away from Sharon and eventually filed for divorce. Nick and Phyllis have finally reconnected, and when she became pregnant again, he proposed. Phyllis lost the baby, but they still tied the knot. But things got tough when Phyllis faced charges running through Christine and Paul last year. In addition, Tim went back to blackmail her and later died. She turned to Ronan Malloy for help, and after they slept together, Nick divorced her. While suspected of being Summer's father, Nick did another DNA test, but Sharon interfered with it to make Jack believe he was the girl's father. This led to a confrontation between Sharon and Phyllis that ended with the redhead falling down the stairs and falling into a coma. Daniel moved her to a facility in Georgia, where her loved ones would occasionally visit. Phyllis woke up in 2014 because Victor arranged for her to receive an experimental drug. She escaped from the clinic and returned to Geneva, where she destroyed Nick and Sharon's wedding. After catching all she had missed while away, Phyllis eventually forced Sharon to confess to tampering with the Put Summer test. She wanted to go back to Jack, but he joined Kelly Andrew, who went to extremes to bring Phyllis up to keep Jack for himself. When the last rival was dispatched, Phyllis finally remarried to Jack. Unfortunately, the man she married is actually Marco, a villain like Victor hired. When Marco was defeated and Jack reclaimed his life, he and Phyllis reunited. However, her business relationship with Billy Abbott soon turned into something more. And although they tried to resist their feelings for each other, Phyllis and Billy began having an affair with Jack. Struggling between the two brothers, Phyllis tried to choose Jack, but he discovered a love affair and filed for divorce. After distracting from the business for a while, Phyllis finally found happiness with Billy. Phyllis was part of the group that covered up the murder of J.T. Hellstrom, and after Billy started gambling again, she became comfortable with Nick and they had sex. Summer comes home and loves Billy, constantly throwing himself at him. Phyllis and Nick's indiscretion was exposed during his wedding to Sharon and Billy took revenge by sleeping with Summer. Phyllis once again focused on work, temporarily became CEO of Abbott and hired Carrie Johnson to work there. Unfortunately, Carrie is a company agent working for Ashley. In addition, when JT's murder was revealed, Phyllis was exempted from Christine in exchange for admitting how he died and she, Nikki, Sharon and Victoria defended it. Nick was very angry and abandoned her. For everyone, Phyllis plotted revenge and joined forces with Adam Newman when returning from the dead. But her plan took an unexpected turn when she was kidnapped by Kevin. She escaped and suspected Adam behind it, following him in Vegas. But instead of following the Newmans, Phyllis set his sights a bit lower, blackmailing Chelsea and Abby to sign part of the Grand Phoenix Hotel. As security director, Phyllis has installed a secret camera and monitored the entire venue and constantly clashed with Abby, especially when she flirted with Abby's new prime minister, Chancellor. Finally, Phyllis manipulated Abby to sign the rest of the Grand Phoenix for her but felt uneasy when the blonde bought real estate across the street and planned to open a competing hotel. Phyllis also began rekindling old feelings with Nick, and although the couple initially decided they were better than their friends, they quickly gave up and re-established their relationship. They wait to start production again. This led to many fans returning to the memory lane when they watched the old episodes of the show. However, it seems that soap fans aren't the only ones going down the memory lane while classic episodes are airing. Because Y&R stars are also reminiscing memories like classic episodes, when Michelle Stafford played Phyllis Summers, she also focused on memories as well as soap, especially on the day of the episode's replay. That Lily and Daniel decided to flee, prompting Neil, Nick and Phyllis to search for them. Many followers were happy to join and share how many people liked the plot and how excited they were to see the three actors working together in the plot. It was a great engagement experience for followers and Michelle as they went down the lane. However, some viewers are still interested. To this day, Los Angeles is still in house order, which prevents the soap from starting production again. This means they cannot start backup production until Los Angeles begins to reopen. However, there must be a lot of drama for Phyllis to participate as she confronts Abby and develops a relationship with Nick Newman. Next, some newer viewers may not be aware of the wild history these two people shared. And maybe some longtime fans may want to be nurtured quickly. Either way, that's where we go. Nick Newman's marriage to Sharon Newman was broken when they lost their daughter Cassie Newman. But the death of their son brought Nick into the arms of Phyllis Summers and the two began a hot love affair. Sharon divorced Nick and Phyllis discovered she was pregnant, although she wondered whether Jack Abbott or Nick was a baby. Nick is very worried when DNA testing proves he is his father and he and Phyllis fled to Texas to get a knot before the baby was born. Phyllis gave birth to a daughter during an ice storm when trapped in an elevator with Jack. Nick saved his son, Daniel, from a car accident and first met his daughter, Summer Newman, when he arrived at the hospital. Although Nick and Phyllis tried to create a happy home with Summer, Phyllis was jealous of her husband's regular connection with Sharon. Although Nick tried to keep his ex-wife in hand, their frequent trips to memory lane eventually brought them to bed together. Although Phyllis kicked Nick to the curb, the couple finally reconciled and renewed the oath. Sharon failed to break the ceremony, but in the end, broke their happy marriage. During the trip to Paris, Sharon expressed his love for Nick and the couple shared a soft kiss that Phyllis witnessed. She also had an affair with Ronan Malloy, so that was almost the end of Phyllis and Nick's marriage. Later, when Summer's father-son relationship was suspected, Nick did another DNA test but Sharon intervened to say that Jack was her father. This led to a confrontation between Sharon and Phyllis that ended with the redhead falling down the stairs and comatose. Phyllis returned later to interrupt Sharon and Nick's wedding to the truth about the blonde's plan. Phyllis and Nick remain friends when they pursue relationships with others, although when Phyllis cheated on Billy while Nick was upset with Sharon, the couple consoled in each other's arms and made love. The couple swore to each other that they would not mention their brief promiscuity, but Sharon discovered and abandoned him on their wedding day. Nick and Phyllis decided to give their relationship another shot, but her waiver agreement in exchange for confessing that she, Sharon, Nikki and Victoria were involved in the death of J.T. Hellstrom was abandoned. There was a sour taste in his mouth and he gave up. Recently, however, Phyllis and Nick have been hanging out a bit more often and there is clearly still some spark between them. Then, in March 2020, while trapped in an ice storm, Nick and Phyllis once again succumbed to passion, but then decided not to let history repeat itself. Can they keep that promise? Please look forward to interesting episodes in the next episode of the movie. Star Michelle Stafford launches all-new interface, Phyllis Summers goes blonde. CBS Vandals The Young and the Restless discovered that star Michelle Stafford has just launched a completely new look. The actress, famous for her role as feudal Phyllis Summers on CBS soap, looks very bright and blonde for the summer months. In fact, this is probably her most beautiful appearance, according to many fans. This is what you need to know. After Michelle shared her brand new picture, her fans and social followers couldn't help but comment and let her know how great she looked with blonde hair. Many articles. Another fan wrote, "Love your hair. Yellow red is right for you. But then again, you're gorgeous no matter what color you are. Enjoy watching you on The Young and the Restless. I cannot wait for the broadcast." Until then, keep the upcoming photos. Your fans admire you. As mentioned, the producers of Young and the Restless didn't make any comments until the show started filming new episodes again. Of course, the entire film and entertainment industry will have to wait until California Governor Gavin Newsom gives them a green light. Although there is some speculation that daytime TV broadcasts will resume in June, so far nothing has been confirmed. We will update you all the latest information when available. Young and the Restless airs weekdays on the CBS network. Check your local listings for times. In the meantime, let us know what you think by dropping us a line with your thoughts in our comments section below.